Well, I'm feeling really tired and I'm not ready for a backpacking trip, but I'm taking this as a good omen. I'm just getting started. And this big family of turkeys. I recognize that white one from a couple years ago. Or I'm sure that it's related to them. Alright guys, been fun, but I gotta go. Greetings campers. This is the Glen Alpine Spring. It's October and it's totally flooded. I've never seen it like this. It's crazy. See water springing up over here and over there, and well, that little cement thing in the middle is where it's supposed to be, but you can see bubbles everywhere here. Weird. Huh. I wonder if this is something other than, oh, it did rain and snow the last few days. I don't know. This is the old entertainment center, and it used to be quite nice apparently. God, there's this life-size picture in there that I just saw staring at me, and it kind of scared me for a second. Yeah, you see that? All of a sudden I saw this face in there. Well, anyway, I'm on the Glen Alpine Trail, the Lily Lake Trail. And there's some interesting tidbits here that I've read and photographed before. Don't want to do it again. It is early October. I'm on the Glen Alpine Trail and I'm headed for, I'm embarrassed to say it. Let's hold it this way. I'm headed for Grass Lake. Why am I embarrassed to say that? Because Grass Lake is a day hike destination. Grass Lake is only 2.5 miles from the trailhead. And I've never camped there. This is the summer of camping at places that I've never been to before. The original plan was to go to Gilmore Lake because I haven't been to Gilmore Lake since the early 90s because it is really crowded. And it's that time of year when I can do the crowded things. So I was planning to do Gilmore Lake, but after my last trip, my body started falling apart. The trail begins proper now. Oh, I'm going to start climbing, so I will take a break here. My body started falling apart. The knee problem that I had, and here is the beginning. The knee problem that I had cleared up right away, but as that cleared up, my left big toe started hurting. Like the nail was in danger of coming off, that kind of thing. And I get that a lot, but I've never lost a toenail, and that happens all the time to most people. They just keep healing and then continue on, more messed up than before. But anyway, the toe was kind of bothering me, so I just didn't get right back out again. I was kind of hoping to get up to Highland Lake. I was really excited to get up to Highland Lake this year, but as soon as I got home from my last trip, fall began, and summer was over, and it suddenly was nice and cool, and it was cool at night. I was sleeping well, and it just felt like winter is coming. It felt like going to a place that's even colder just seemed crazy. But there was this window of opportunity opening up here. Actually, there was a window of opportunity a week after I got back, but I just wasn't ready. A really good window, too. But we got a window of opportunity here, which is, it looked better a couple of weeks ago than it did a few days ago. Today, warm, pleasant, breezy, but not too bad. Tomorrow would get a lot colder, and winds will be kicking up. The next day, a lot colder still, and even windier. I kept looking at that, the lows for the duration of the trip kept fluctuating, but sometimes they dropped down to as low as 17 degrees. This Californian has never seen 17 degrees in any shape or form. So I went back and forth. God, do I want to do this? Do I want to subject myself to this? Should I plan something else? As I was ignoring the weather, I decided, well, I could do this little trip of places I haven't camped at, or at least not for a long time. I could do a 3-night trip. I liked my last 3-night trip. I like being out for 3 nights. I could do Grass Lake first night, Gilmore Lake second night, and then maybe Heather the 3rd night. All in this tight, small little area. It's hardly worth even calling it backpacking, but I don't care. I like being out here, and I'm old, so I have an excuse. But as the weather looked uglier and uglier and uglier, I decided that not going beyond Grass Lake could be perfectly acceptable, depending on what it's like. I don't know what the camping is like there. So, here I am. It's a glorious day for hiking. It's not cold, it's not hot, I've barely cracked a sweat. I'm actually making pretty good time, even though I have not slept well for the last few days, and pretty much a zombie driving up the whole way. It was cold and hazy and looked kind of dank all the way up. As soon as I got over the summit, it was nice and sunny. It started to get warmer. The UV rays from the sun are hotter. There's a cloud over the sun now, but I'm quite comfortable. And I should get to Grass Lake pretty early. The day hikers I've asked said they didn't see anybody with backpack ahead of me. So things look pretty good. We'll see. I don't know what's going to happen. My pack is fucking heavy. I actually bought a larger pack to use this year. A larger, same thing that I had before, just an Exos 48 liter instead of 38. The plan being that I might want to do 3, 4, 5 nights out here. So a bigger pack would be good. But I'm like so afraid of this cold weather. I've got so much gear. This thing is full and it's kind of heavy. I was a little nervous about that. Back at my apartment, lifting it up and weighing it. It's gonna be just under 30 pounds probably. 28 at least. 28, maybe 29. That's the biggest load I've carried in a long time. I was a little worried about it, but it feels fine on the back. My body feels fine. I'm just really tired, really exhausted, and I'm going really slow, but I have gone slower than this in the past, so maybe everything's going to be just fine. As it got to the moment where I had to decide, yes, get a wilderness permit now, or no, don't, I called my sister, and Kathy, I just can't make up my mind. I want to just laid it all out to her, hoping that she would recognize that I wanted someone to talk me into going. And she recognized that, and she talked me into going. And I might leave after 2 nights, I might not. I might have a very, very cold night, but I'll live, It's an adventure, right? Barely 2.5 miles in. Day hikers all around me. Hopefully I can find a secluded campsite. I don't know. But let's go. I stopped to talk to that old couple for a few minutes. But besides that, I went all the way here without stopping. 1.5 miles. I don't know. I really don't know. What time is it? I started just after noon. One good thing about today is I got an early start because I couldn't sleep. Just woke up and started going. It is 12:50. I have not been out here an hour yet. All right, let's go. I cannot count how many times I've walked by this sign and gone right instead of left. This time I'm going left. Very weird. I just checked my map a little while ago as I walked past the wilderness sign, and I was shocked to see how far I had come. Now that I'm at the junction, I'm feeling pretty darn good. The one advantage to being so sleepy you feel like you're a zombie is that you're kind of like a zombie. Huh, perfect Christmas tree that's dead. You're kind of like a zombie, and you just are moving on autopilot, and sometimes you don't realize that you just covered a few hundred yards there. Cool. Huh. Well, this is the water crossing the couple was telling me about. Said they came up here earlier this year, and it was impassable. And of course it's not now. Okay, let's put the damn camera away. I gotta climb up that other bank there. And then I still have 200 feet of elevation to climb before I get to a campsite, but it's within a mile, so it'll be easy. Pretty cool trail. I forgot to mention that the one really thrilling thing about turning left at that junction is that when you take the trail towards the PCT, you go for 50 yards or so and then make a left, and then you start climbing through really hot, steep, nasty trail. It's my least favorite part of this trail. And making a left there, I don't even have to do it. Yay! But I don't know what's in store for me here. So. And there can't be any great campsites here. So if I get a great campsite, I'll really feel lucky. But there's a very good chance that I'm going to have a campsite that is too close to the lake or too close to the trail or with no privacy at all with day hikers all around. But I chose to accept that possibility because I want to be up here. I don't want to freeze to death, so I'm staying away from the higher elevation. I'm only going to be around 7,300 feet here. Gilmore is 1,000 feet higher and at the base of a mountain. That kind of scares me. I'm feeling really wimpy here. Feeling better today, but the day is approaching this day. I was feeling a lot of trepidation. A lot. I might learn to like this trail after all. I'm climbing these stairs. I know I'm getting pretty close. But brutal climbing stairs, and then nothing. And then the other side of the river basin. Oh, that feels good. Lake basin. Please excuse me, I've had very little sleep last few days. I'm going to say a lot of stupid things. Let's go! First view of Grass Lake, well under 2 hours on the trail. About, let's take a look here. About 1 hour, 40 minutes on the trail. I'm very pleased. Well, this is the best campsite at Crag Lake. You know, I haven't checked the water access yet. Okay, well, hold on. It has that old Packer site feel to it. The end of trail was actually 100 yards or so from here, and there was a lesser campsite there. This is a little better. It's got a very sheltered tent spot that looks really flat, really comfortable. Very sheltered. Grass Lake is aptly named. There's grass everywhere. It's what I hoped for. Let's put it that way. It's not a great campsite, but this is exactly what I was hoping I would get. A decent campsite. I was kind of hoping to be off the water. Kind of hoping it might be away from the trail more, but the trail really does just end right here. Okay, now, I want to see if I can see the cliff campsite at Susie Lake from here. Because I could see Grass Lake from there. But I was hoping there'd be a lovely view of the falls. But this is about where the trail ends. Yeah, there's the falls. It's not much to see, but the Cliff Plateau campsite is up there. And it is magnificent. I don't see anybody looking over. There aren't a lot of people out here. I didn't see a single person with a backpack today. No, there's nobody up there. And to the right is a huge waterfall. I can barely hear it. but it's far away. It's too bad. It would have been nice if it was really raging and really loud and I was closer to it. It's about 2 hours since I left the parking lot, so I got here at a good time. And 2:04? Wow, it's early. Sun setting at 6:30. Got a lot of time to set up, so I can just relax, which is what I want to do. Maybe I'll set up the tent and crawl in and take a nap. I'm that tired. And that would work because there's no sun and it's cool out here. I might just do that. Greetings, campers. A weird day. Weird backpacking trip. This is the lazy backpacking trip. Lazy and stupid backpacking trip. Is this recording? It says it's recording. I'm really stupid. I haven't gotten enough sleep in the last few days, and it's really showing. Made lots of little mistakes, but I've been concentrating all day on not making stupid mistakes, when it's important at least. So far, so good. Everything about this trip has worked according to plan so far. Should I give you a tour of the site? Meh, I'm tired. Screw that. I gave you a little tour earlier. It's nice. Greetings, campers. The lazy, stupid man here. Is that direct sunlight on me? It is. But I don't even feel it. It's a nice, pleasant temperature in the tent here. And I am ready to just kind of lie here for a bit and close my eyes and relax and maybe nibble some food, maybe drink some water, just relax. Wow. I've been reclined for about 1 minute and I've had my head on this pillow for about half of that and it's beginning to work. See you later. Cup of miso. My nap was moderately successful. I did not sleep, but I was comfortably comatose. Shut my brain down, shut my body down, didn't move. Listened to the beautiful wind blowing through the trees. Spotted a couple widowmakers over my tent. And just can't work up enough anxiety over that to do anything about it. There's plenty of trees around to catch those if they fall. And the odds of them falling are pretty remote, so fuck it. And I don't want to move to another place. It was pretty comfortable in there. It's pretty flat. There'd be a fire out there somewhere. Pretty darn smoky. And it's way up there. I'm surprised I'm not smelling it. It's not over here yet. When I was at Fresh Pond, on my way up here, I could smell smoke burning, and I asked the people there if that was a fire or just people's wood-burning stoves in the nearby. And she said that there was controlled burn going on. Well, if that's a controlled burn, it's a big one. Nice soft light over there. It's an interesting flattish ridge. Very soft light. It's around 5:30, maybe an hour to go till the sun sets, but the sun hasn't been around here for a while. This little lake is looking pretty. This is not a place I'd want to be early season. I'd want to camp at early season. There was a lot of bugs around here when I got here, and it's October. But I mean, just look at all the vegetation and bugginess. If you were here in the spring, and well, June or July even, I couldn't imagine how buggy it would be. Smoke seems to be growing, not dissipating, and it's pretty darn thick over there. Yeah, you can see it's going to start coming over this ridge, probably tonight. Before I turn away, actually, the distance is very smoky. There's a distant mountain there. You just really can't quite see. Okay, I have to get back to camp, although that's interesting to look at. I have to get back to camp because I have my stove on. And of course the water is boiling away. It only takes seconds. Full. Sure is peaceful here. I see some little fish jumping. I see a big old smoky cloud. Seems to be getting worse, but not getting closer. That's good and bad. Oh, greetings, campers. I'm all bundled up here, even though it's not really cold. It's low 50s now. But when I am low on sleep and I get really sedentary, I get pretty chilly, so put a bunch of stuff on and I'm very comfortable. I guess I really don't have anything to say. I thought I did, but nothing's coming to my mouth. So I'll just call it for now. It's early. I mean, it's probably 7 o'clock or so, and I'll be up for a while. I'll listen to some podcasts or something. Then I'll get to bed early. Of course. I mean, I'll be in the tent before 10. I would think, maybe even earlier, because I need my sleep, and should be a good night for getting sleep here. I think so. See you later. A new invention. It's pretty silly, but I like the way it illuminates things. Okay, well, greetings, campers. End of night 1 of we don't know how many it's going to be, because we're terrified it's going to be 10 degrees in a couple of days. But all that trepidation meant nothing today, because it was a lovely day. It was cool and breezy for hiking. The hiking was brief. It even felt like it was brief. All of a sudden I was almost here, and then all of a sudden I was here, and I'm the only backpacker here, so I get the best campsite. Really, the only campsite. It just occurred to me, I can be out of here in, I'm only 2.5 miles. If I run, I'll be out of here in an hour, So if the terror turns out to be real, I can get out of here in a hurry. Okay, I really should stop babbling, because I'm not really saying much of consequence. So, I'll see you tomorrow morning. A lot of wildlife here. I mean, it was pretty noisy when the sun came out. It's a gorgeous day. The smoke has dissipated. I got out at sunrise and saw just a little bit of it left. And looks like it's gone now. Or before sunrise, I should say. Looking pretty here, eh? Let's climb up higher. Looks like a duck has been in here. Didn't sleep all that well. Yeah, I didn't sleep well at all. But I'm okay. I don't have to go anywhere or do anything. This Jay just swooped by and told me who really owns the place. And of course he hides behind the tree. Yeah, what is all this crap, huh? What is this crap doing in my place? You're a big boy. Oh, sorry, buddy. The place is mine now. You can have it back soon. Well, you're pretty tame, though, aren't you? Huh. That's odd. You gonna hang around? You gonna yell at me all day? Huh. That's interesting. Oh, that's pretty. Busy Maui. I love my pack towel. It's one of the few items that I bought right after I re-outfitted to start backpacking again after many years of laying off, that I have kept all along because it is super lightweight, dries off really quick, it absorbs a lot of water, but this drives me crazy. This little snap here thing is nice to for hanging, and it says pull to pull that. But unfortunately, the other side, the strap is even longer, and if you just kind of grab the thing and you start pulling and you pull and you pull and it's not moving, and and you go, oh, right, that's the wrong side. And I do it almost every time. It drives me crazy. I keep telling myself I have got to cut off this flap here. So I'm going to whip out my knife now, and after all these years, finally do it. And by the way, I want to remark at what a great invention this is. I always like to bring extra, a short length of extra rope, extra beyond my my food hanging stuff. And I bought this from Z-Packs. Super light. It's strong enough to use as guy outs on your tent and stuff like that. And you know, I put up clotheslines every now and then when there's not a good rock to dry clothes on, but and I always bring these little clips because they're handy, but I've never put it all together. String up a length of this rope and hang stuff from it. I've got, this is another invention. I'm bringing a big huge plastic bag for my clothes instead of, well, I stuff it in a stuff pack, and I stuff it in my Thermarest felt lined stuff bag that is, you turn it inside out and fill it up and it's a pillow. As soon as I get to camp, I take all the clothes out and I put it into this bag here, and it's so much easier for, you know, finding what you want, carrying it around and stuff. It's very handy. I haven't realized how handy that would be, and I very cleverly am hanging this from a loop with a twig, no knots, but I can reach into it. And I've got food that that I want handier than my food hanging over there. This is my food cozy. This is my toiletries. This is my garbage, and this I just want to have handy to dry my hands and for it to dry off easily. What a nice little setup. I can't imagine why I don't always do that. Really weird. But I think I will. You know, I'll get to camp and I'll put up my little line and I'll put up my little clips and yeah, I can put up my little thermometer so I'll know the real air temperature, which is 53 degrees now. And like I said yesterday, I didn't get a lot of sleep. Still haven't gotten a lot of sleep, so I'm going to be strangely babbly. So I'm going to shut up. I checked the weather forecast for this spot for the next couple of days, and it's going to get cold. It's going to get cold tomorrow, or tonight's going to be much like last night, but it might be windy too. It might be a breeze blowing. That'll certainly cool things off, and I'm really glad I got my tent nestled in there. I was watching some of the breezes blowing and the trees and the branches blowing like crazy and the willows or whatever that stuff is blowing like crazy, but my tent wasn't really terribly affected, so that'll be good. And it's also should be good for napping pretty much any time during the day. It's getting some direct sun, but the sun's not that hot and there's a lot of cool air blowing around, so I might do that. But I have decided that I'm going to leave tomorrow. A 2-night trip, not a 3-night trip. It's just going to be too challenging dealing with that cold morning on Thursday and hiking out in the low 40s. That's cold. I just don't think I would enjoy myself. I'm sure I could do it, but would it be enjoyable? I don't know. Would I rather be home watching a hockey game that night? I might. Well, some bird had a rough end here. I wonder what did that. Coyote? Found another old trail here. It's very clear. It's up above the beginning of the lake. And I imagine it's climbing up there somewhere. Getting over that somehow. I want to get over towards the outlet. And there's some really nice granite over there. I have to get around this little lagoon somehow. And I want to check that out. Man, the walk is having its desired effect. I'm feeling a little more human now. And certainly warmer. It's a pretty walk. I'm on the other side of that little lobe I was talking about, and you could call this a campsite. I'd have a hard time fitting my tent there, but I usually do. I'd have a hard time fitting it there too. This was once nice until a widowmaker destroyed it. But it's nice over here. A lot of trees, nice view. Well, I got a long way to go around here. There might be more to see. Okay, I'm liking this less and less. It keeps being easy, I'll keep going. But it's looking like it's going to start getting hard. Yeah, I can get over that easily, but I don't want to. It entails risk. I can't quite see my campsite from here. It's way, way over there. You can see the falls. Okay, let's go. I've had enough. I'm warm now. These guys were hanging out by the shore and I just scared them. 3 mergansers. They're quite nervous. But they want to come back here, it looks like. They're waiting for me to leave. Yep, lots of little fish for these guys to eat. Alright, I'll leave and let them have their place back. See you guys. Well, that worked. I got warm to the core. Feeling good now, and I'm hungry, so I just grabbed my food bag and I'm going to do some grazing. So I'm feeling a little more human than before I left, but already I just sat down. I'm beginning to feel sleepy weariness come in. But I'm going to eat some food, drink some water. That'll wake me up a little bit, and hang around some more. Saw no people on my little hike. No day hikers here. Maybe it's still a little early, but not really. Be interesting if nobody shows. That would really be a surprise. A chipmunk has found my food. Damn it, I am so late in this. He was on that tree looking up at the stuff hanging with his nose in the air. Oh, you want to be a nuisance, don't you, buddy? Oh, I got nothing for you, buddy. Get out of here. Beat it. Jesus, you're brave. I've got a remarkable nuisance pest here. And to think I was feeling sorry for him. This little ground squirrel that I showed you before is brazen. I decided I was going to get rid of him. I got that big hunk of bark there. It may just be bark, but it's quite dense. It's pretty heavy. It weighs 10 times as much as he does. He was right there, and I decided I had it. So it's only 8 feet away. I'm just gonna throw it at him hard, straight at him, and that'll scare the hell out of him. I almost crushed the thing to death. I mean, I didn't hit him. I think I grazed him, but he just bolted in time. I felt so bad for a moment. And then I see him coming around this side of the tree. I'm sitting here on my chair here, and he's right there on the log, and then he's right there on the log. I mean, God, it's crazy. He was within 2 feet of me. And now that I pulled my camera out to talk about him and film him, he's gone. What scared you this time, buddy? He's around somewhere, though. This guy knows there's food here, and he wants it. Greetings once more, campers. It's about 2:30, and I just can't stay conscious outside. As soon as I stop moving, my brain just starts swirling. And it just wants to shut down. So I'm gonna shut it down again here. It's quite windy and cool out there. The temperatures seem to have peaked at 62, and now it's falling. That's about all I have to report here. This is the lazy, stupid man here. Very tired man. Very tired. Okay. That's it. Well, I spent another hour in the tent, and I actually did get a few minutes of sleep here and there, so I feel a lot better. But when I woke up, I could hear that the wind was just howling still. And I decided that I've had enough of not being able to keep myself warm. So I'm putting on the heavy guns here. I got the big jacket on. I put on my both under layers down below and one up top. So I'm pretty darn warm. And it's overcast now. The haze just got thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker. Almost white caps on the water. It's kind of oppressive out here, but I'm feeling pretty good. I got plenty of warm clothes, and I got everything I need here. And I won't be here tomorrow when it's going to be 15 degrees colder at least. Brr. I'm glad for that decision. So I'm gonna get a cup of miso soup going and sit down and drink it. That's my plan for right now. Still haven't seen anybody, still haven't heard anybody. I'm shocked, but the way the weather's looking, I can imagine people turning around before they get here. So I have to do it before I forget. I have to tell my Grass Lake story. I mentioned earlier that I had never turned left at that Grass Lake sign. And I've mentioned that I've never camped at Grass Lake, but I have been here before. Back before the dawn of mankind, and before I really knew anything about backpacking, my buddy Robert, the Eagle Scout, took me on a trip out here and drove me into the ground. That was probably 1977. Wow. More than 40 years ago. Whew. Wow. It boggles my mind. But when I tell you the story, I'll recognize that it was a long time ago, back before I knew much of anything. So we were, I didn't know anything about backpacking, and he was an Eagle Scout, so he took me out here, and I just have vague memories of, I'm sure we went over Rockbound Pass. I'm sure we were in Rockbound Valley. And we must have gone up to Fontanella's Dix Pass, and it was a death march. I was dying the whole way. The packs were heavy, I'm sure, and I was in no condition for that kind of stuff. And he was like enjoying it. I've never been a good hiker, although I was a good athlete back then. I was also a cigarette smoker, even as a teenager. So I never had stamina. These two mouse-sized chipmunks over here are trying to distract me, and they were totally distracting me earlier. They were running around the trees and just playing together and fucking, and it was just hilarious. They're the size of big mice with a tail, and I'm not even sure if I'm focusing in on one. I can't really see what I'm doing. Okay, back to the story. I had, after this adventure, figured out where I went wrong. And I haven't been there since I started backpacking again, so I'm not sure if I can find it again, but there isn't many places it could be. I think I should be able to. Hiking along. Robert was ahead of me, of course. Hiking along, and we're going to the lake, I don't know which lake. I've never been there before, never heard of it, didn't know anything about it. And we're hiking along, and I look and I go, oh, a lake. There's a lake down there. That must be the lake we're going to. Well, I'll just hop off the trail and go to the lake. Now, I've told this story at Susie, on my Susie Lake videos, one of those. So if this is sounding familiar, you might want to fast forward. But actually, this is sounding like a better version of it. So I see the lake, and I'm like, okay, I'm screw this. I'm just going to go to the lake, and it looked like I could get there in 15 minutes, And I haven't been able to identify where it is from down here yet. I took some video of that area, and it's got to be to the right of the falls somewhere. And it took me at least an hour to get here, probably. And I was grumbling and just pissed and just, it was miserable. But I finally got here, and I sat down, and I was going to wait for Robert to show up. I assumed that I had found a shortcut, and I had beat him to. I was so stupid, right? It's amazing how stupid you can be when you don't know anything, right? So I'm here, and it's like 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes. I'm beginning to realize I probably screwed up. And I pull out my map, and I look, and I realize I'm probably at Grass Lake. And maybe I'm not supposed to be. Or maybe I was checking out the map to find out where I was to see how I can get out of here. I was thinking about getting out of there. Maybe I don't think I was doing both. Maybe I wasn't doing both. Just thinking about getting out of there. And it's funny. From that point on, I added to my backpacking master list 2 dimes. Bring 2 dimes with you. Because you might have to hike out and you might have to make a phone call at a payphone that costs 2 dimes, or it did back then. So just as I'm realizing this, oh shit, I screwed up and now I've got to get out of here and get home somehow. Well, I really screwed up. I hear this distant voice. I can't see where it's coming from, but it's Robert. And I yell back at him. I mean, we could barely communicate with each other. We had to repeat a couple of times. But it's a mile away. I mean, it's pretty remarkable. I think he was actually at the falls, at Susie Falls, at that plateau there, looking for me. He had said he'd backtrack all the way back at some point, and I wasn't there. And he was worried that maybe I fell off the cliff or something. And I think he probably was trying to instruct me on how to get back up there, and I was like, fuck no, you come down here. And I was done, you know, I was done. I had gone through all that, I wasn't going to do anything. He comes down here, and I assume that we're going to camp here. And he says, no, this is a crappy lake, we can't stay here. And ever since that day, 42 years ago, I had always assumed Grass Lake was a crappy lake because Robert told me, and he was an Eagle Scout and he knew everything. So I think I at least talked him into carrying my pack. I guess he left his pack up there and hiked up to Susie Lake, I guess. Or I guess I don't know, but it's probably Susie, or maybe it was Heather for some reason. Or maybe it was Lake Aloha, I don't know. God, it felt like a death march to me. It just kept on going and going and going and going. But that's my Grass Lake story, and that's one reason why. There's a lot of reasons, but that's one why I've never had any interest in coming here, because it's a crappy lake. It's Grass Lake. It's surrounded by grass. It's, you know, and truth be told, it's a fairly crappy lake. There's a lot of grass here, but it's not shitty. I mean, I'm having a good time here. One could have a good time here. But also it was 2.5 miles from the trailhead. It seemed like it'd be too crowded, it'd be too busy, and I can't believe I've been here this is my 2nd day and I haven't seen anybody. Not true. The 2 girls that I saw yesterday, I saw 2 people since I've been here. But no backpackers. Interesting. Pretty good stay, all things told. I remember coming up this trail once and seeing several groups telling me that they were headed to Grass Lake. And I just, couldn't imagine what that would be like. Several groups here, where would they all go? Well, they would all go to these crappy places that I've found. This is the only good spot here, only halfway decent spot. How long have I been babbling here? 10 minutes. That's a long time. My brain's working a little better. That's good. I'm feeling better. And I'm not oppressed by the chilliness because I got way too much clothes on, so that was a good idea. Because I've been trying to put on what I thought should be enough clothes. You know, this should keep me warm, damn it, it's not that cold here. But I kept just getting chilly, because the lack of sleep just does that to you. And but I'm still babbly, I guess, so I should stop babbling so much. I have said everything I wanted to say. Yep. I'll check in later. sky is interesting tonight. It was just a menacing haze when I got out of the tent after my second nap. But the haze has kind of disappeared, and it's still kind of hazy. But there are interesting clouds about. Look at this spaceship thing over here. And this will all be getting colorful in a while. Good flying saucer up there. This just keeps getting excellent. I'm trying to get to the other lobe. I better do that before all the light is gone, because I don't know what I'm missing over here. Didn't go over here last night either. It's pretty over here. We've got mountains, we've got water, we've got color. I don't have a wide enough view to get it all. Pretty. I'm kind of standing in the lake here, or on a rock in the lake. It is pretty, but it's getting dark back in camp. I better get back there. It will be dark soon. Well, greetings, campers. It is the end of night 2 at Grass Lake. And that's the final night as well. Certainly was a peculiar trip. I was a zombie most of the time from lack of sleep. That little nap that I took this afternoon just really rescued me. You insomniacs will know that when, or at least for me, when I go a long time without sleep, I just feel so crappy that I can't sleep, and that's a problem. But at least with that little nap today, I feel a lot better now than I did last night, sleep-wise. I should be okay. But I don't really have anything to say here. Didn't do much today, although I had fun not doing it. Okay, well, enough. I'll see you tomorrow. Good morning, campers. I'm happy to report that I got the best night's sleep that I've had in a couple of weeks. I crawled out of the tent around 8 o'clock or so after getting in there at 10, and I slept most of the time. I got at least 8 hours of sleep. Yay! Feeling much better. My knee, that's been kind of achy and bothering me for like a week or so. It had nothing to do with backpacking. It's not aching and bothering me anymore. Yay! Also, yay, the weather has taken an abrupt turn from the predictions. Um, the predictions had been right in line with exactly what had happened for 36 hours, and last night it was supposed to get down to the mid 30s or so, and um, appeared to be like the previous day, only it just wasn't going to be warming up at all. It's already like 52, I think, something like that, which is higher than the predicted high for the day. Um, it didn't get down to the 30s at all. However, huge wind gusts blew in last night. Um, all night long. It was so windy. Um, and I was afraid of my two nearby widowmakers. Um, that gave me a little bit of anxiety. I tried to just, wipe it out of my mind, because otherwise the sound of the wind was overwhelmingly wonderful. Usually when it's that windy, my tent's all flappy and it's annoying. But this was the best windbreak camp I've ever had when I needed a windbreak. It just doesn't get windy over there where the tent is. Um, and even in the biggest gusts, probably 40-mile-an-hour gusts, it didn't flap around. Amazing. So I assume I'm still hiking out today. I'm not in a hurry, but if it starts warming up to the 60s, I might reconsider. I'm going to take a look at the weather, get a new weather report, see what it says. Chances are I'm going to get out of here, because I don't want to be in a down jacket all day, and it feels like it's going to be that kind of day. And tomorrow is going to be colder. I'm not sure how I'm going to be hiking out with what clothes to wear. Hopefully I won't need the down jacket. Hopefully. Okay, well, I got my cup of coffee here, and my stomach is beginning to growl, so I better do something about that. Greetings, campers. I guess I'm hiking out of here. I had left the possibility open that I might stay if the weather looked like it might change from what was predicted before, but I don't know. I sent in a request on my Delorme thing. Not Delorme anymore, whatever it is. And the update that I got back said windy today. That's all it said. I mean, it usually gives me a 3-day forecast with interval updates throughout the day, but just windy today. That's not good enough. The wind has that Arctic chill feel to it, so it when weather in California, when weather systems from the north come down, you can really feel it. The ionization in the air gets more electric, and it gets cold. So that's what was forecast, and I assume that maybe it's just delayed a little bit. So I'm going to get out of here. The weather plus my situation here. It's I'm at the end of a trail, the dead end of a trail. There's not much to do here. Not that I wasn't really ambitious, but I really can't do anything unless I, hike back out on the trail and go back on to, up towards Susie or Gilmore Lake or something like that. I hiked around the lake, and that's about as much as there is to do here. So I'm kind of bored, I guess. And I've gotten what I wanted out of this trip, and another day isn't gonna change that. It's just gonna make me really cold. I was really comfortable last night in the sleeping bag, because I had prepped everything for being super cold, and boy, it felt nice. But I'm not in any hurry here. It's after 10 already. So I probably won't be leaving until 1. It's only going to take an hour and a half at the most to get out of here, so don't really care. Okay, that's enough of an update for now. Oh, greetings campers. It's about 1:15, and I got most everything packed. I still have some more stuff to do, I have to drink, I have to eat. Details. That's all fine with me. I'm not in any kind of hurry. Still haven't seen anybody. It's kind of strange, but with a good night's sleep, I feel more awake than I have in a long time. It feels so good. Not much else to report. It's still quite chilly. It's like 52 maybe, and breezy, so wind chill down in the 40s. I'm going to be hiking with an upper layer or two. That's not something I often do. I thought about hiking with a lower underlayer, but I forgot to put it on, and when I put my long pants on, it feels pretty good, so I think I'll just go like that. Don't want to be overheated if I don't have to be. But who knows? Then again, it's a 2.5 mile hike. I can deal with discomfort for a 2.5 mile hike. I'm not that big of a baby, although I am a big baby, just not that big. Okay, I'm going to sit around and be a baby for a little while longer, and I'll check in later. And I need to switch over here. Don't you dare fall. Don't you dare fall. Pretty much the last task I have to do here today. Okay, this is silly. Turn it off. Greetings, campers. It's getting cold here. After I did a bunch of work in tearing my tent down and packing all that stuff up, I decided to get the trail clothes on because I was feeling pretty warm. So all I had was my long pants on and wool underlayer up top plus a long sleeve shirt, and that felt pretty good for a few minutes, and then it started getting a little chilly, and then I decided to put the windbreaker on, and then I needed to put my little blue hat on, and then I wanted to put the hood on from the windbreaker, and my hands are cold. As the afternoon rolls on, it's getting colder. It's not getting warmer. It is. It's not 2 o'clock yet. I could be out of here by 2 if I wanted to. I got everything packed up. I just got to put one more thing away. But I want to hang out and drink a little bit and go slow. And I want to sit in the sun. I've been working in the shade here, and my hands are cold. I want to put my hiking gloves on and maybe my thin silk gloves on as well for hiking. Take the windbreaker off to start with. I don't know what it's going to be like because the sun's going to warm me up, but the air is chilly. It was around 50 and falling last I saw. All right, time to go. Well, goodbye, Grass Lake campsite. It was a very interesting stay, a very memorable stay. But I am freezing. I have got to get out of this campsite into the sun. I just took off my windbreaker because I know that'll be too much. Whew. I'll go to that little campsite next door here where it's probably nice and warm with all that granite reflecting all over the place and no shadows. Yeah, I think I will go to this nice little windbreak here and just warm for a second. It's a beautiful day. You could say it's perfect conditions for hiking. I am not used to hiking when it's cold, but it's probably going to feel really good, except for my arthritic fingers. My arthritic thumb. Ow. Okay, well I'm gonna kind of like regroup here and then get going. I guess I'm still pretty stupid because I walked right off the trail. This is the trail back here through the Manzanita, and here's this bit of trail maintenance here, and I just followed it right. Jeez, I can't believe I did that. I got to the creek crossing, I'm like, this doesn't look familiar. Crossed the creek, I'm like, where's the trail? I actually had to pull out the GPS to verify that I wasn't actually on the trail. I haven't done that for a while, it's pretty stupid. Well, I didn't take eating terribly seriously this morning. Didn't have lunch. I just did some grazing. And I was getting just a little bit peckish here. I was decided I was going to have a break at the junction. But I'm here at the Grass Lake outlet. And it's really comfy here. There's a very nice spot to sit that supports my backpack while I'm sitting, and just allows me to lean on the backpack like a chair, and it's very pretty. So I'm going to sit here and nibble for just 5 minutes or so and move on. I'm just at where the trail starts with the staircase, and I have to stop and recognize how pretty it is. All these berries hanging from the trees, or these bushes. The fall colors around. So that's the end of the steep stuff, or the end of the actual backcountry trail. And I don't know what they call this. I guess this used to be a road. And down we go. I've seen 3 people today. Retired old guys, a couple of guys going up to Grass Lake, and one guy who was doing a big day hike. I guess he went up the trail to Half Moon Lake, and then came down cross country to Grass Lake and out. A nice ambitious day hike. The other guys were kind of funny at that one creek crossing that had double trees across as a crossing for when the water was high, but the water wasn't high. You could just walk right across. It was funny. Both of them, tiptoed and gingerly went across the double. Sorry, I'm distracted by the area here. Went over the little bridge, 6 feet over the water, and I just walked right across, the rocks that were poking out of the water in a tenth of the time. It was kind of funny. Look what those beavers did. I imagine that this just blew over. I would have noticed that. They're not going to like that at all. They might have to come out here and fix that before the winter. And they probably thought they were done with winter maintenance. Greetings, campers. Man, it sure is nice to get back to my car and not be all hot and sweaty. And it sure is nice to get back to my car not being totally exhausted from hiking so hard and all of that. Just that I had hoped it was a nice, pleasant little hike. My choice of clothing was pretty darn good. I took off my buff and my little blue hat eventually, but I hiked, in the long sleeve top and a long sleeve underlayer and long pants, but no underlayer below, and that was just about right. So, probably the last hike of the year, but maybe not. I'm not sure. I'll be watching the weather, and if I see a little, 3-day section that looks pretty encouraging, I might have to jump on it. But if this was the last hike of the year, I'll be happy that it was a good way to close out the year. That's about it. So if I don't see you until next season, I'll see you next season. Signing off from Lily Lake.